Welcome to the Union FC Indy Insider. The Union FC Insider is a podcast to spotlight coaches, share Union FC Indy's club values, and connect with families within the soccer community. I'm your host, Brandon Faust, of this new podcast. I've been a part of ZYSA and Union FC Indy for about 5 years. Former college player, very brief cup of coffee professionally overseas. Coach for about 20 years. My kids play at the club. We love the club. And I run a soccer coaches podcast outside of this one. So Dan, Rob, and I got to talking, and we decided this would be a great time to launch a Union FC Indy Insider podcast show with all the exciting things that are going on at the club. And we aim to bring you an episode every couple of weeks, every 2 weeks. So hitting that subscribe button helps us to grow the great message of what's happening at Union FC Indy. And an additional tool for you as well to stay in the loop of things that are happening at the club, get to know some of the other faces, names, coaches, and some of the things that we're trying to embody as a club, and some resources for you as you tend to your child or other kids in the community's soccer journey. This week, we want you to comment the words, "I love Union FC Indy," in the comments to be entered into a drawing to win new Union FC Indy gear. Well, today I have a wonderful guest joining me today. He's a familiar face for many of you. If your kids started in the rec program, you've probably interacted with Dan Kapsalis, but Dan serves as the Director of Operations for Zionsville Youth Soccer Association, which we have rebranded the travel program as Union FC Indy. He oversees the rec program for ZYSA as well. And Dan has had a massive impact on the game, both at the national level, at the state level, because Dan is a very humble guy, but he was inducted into the Indiana Soccer Hall of Fame in 2010, which is rare air and rare company. He played on the team at IU. He coached Carmel High School's men's state champions in 2006, which is a great accomplishment. He was the Deputy Executive Director of Indiana Youth Soccer, Director of State Olympic Development and Coaching Education, Vice President of Indiana Soccer Coaches Association, All-State Chairman for Indiana Soccer Coaches Association, Chairman of ISCA Rules Committee, Regional Chairman for the NSCAA All-American Committee, co-owner of Soccer Unlimited, wrote and produced award-winning sports motivational film for kids distributed nationwide, a radio and TV sports commentator for the Indiana Twisters and Blast, which I never knew. It's amazing. Was that indoor soccer?
It was indoor. The Twisters was indoor, and I just recently signed up to be part of the Indy 11 broadcast.
Let's go, Dan. That's awesome. And Dan holds the highest level of USSF national and state coaching licenses, two-time Indiana Coaches Association High School Coach of the Year, two-time Large School Coach of the Year by NSCAA and NFHS, founder, president, and director of Coaching Indianapolis United, co-founder of Indy Phoenix FC, winner of Good Soccer Award from Indiana Youth Soccer, won the ISCA President's Award for service to high school soccer. And I just want to tell you, the list actually keeps going on and on and on.
I'm old.
And you've done a lot within the game. And so for us as a club, as a community, the club that my kids play at, it's such a joy to have somebody of your wide experience, vast experience, to be involved at the club, serving as the Director of Operations. So Dan, welcome.
Thanks, Brandon. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Dan, as we get to know you a little bit, because we've probably seen your face, on a busy Saturday morning as we're moving here and there, or we've sat into different meetings and different things like that with you. Dan, or you've received emails from Dan. You see this name, Dan Kapsalis, Play Metrics, the whole deal.
Sorry about that.
You see his name often. But Dan, tell us a little bit about your kind of soccer trajectory. We just heard a lot of the history, but what was your primary position as a soccer player growing up?
I was always the little guy, right? I was always a little guy. So goal was not going to be one of my fortes. I was an attacking player. I was a forward. I was a goal scorer. That was what I did. What
was your favorite soccer playing moment, whether at a club level, a high school level, college level, beyond?
That's a great question, Brandon. I started when I was 6. My family were from Chicago, but we migrated to St. Louis, Minnesota, Detroit, and we played throughout those times. I had great memories growing up playing ball, but I got to say one of the greatest moments was winning the national championship at IU in 82 and 83. In 82, I was the only player from the state of Indiana on the team at the time. But that 83 championship, to be a part of that, was the national title at IU was pretty special.
That's amazing. Dan, you've been around the game for such a long time as a coach, serving coaches, leading groups of coaches. What was the best advice a coach ever gave to you in your playing days?
Part of it is it's a tough question because I never really had coaches. We had, dads. We never grew up with licensed coaches and reputable people who played the game. Yeah. So the best advice was, I think, from one of my high school coaches in Detroit, which is if you're not exhausted after the game, you're not giving enough. You have to put everything out on the field as a player. As a coach, some of the best advice I got with all the coaching licensing courses that we take, really think about the person more than the player. Yeah. And get really, interested in who they are and what makes them tick, as opposed to just teaching them the game. Yeah. So it's more like, how can you really help the person and have an impact on the person? That's some advice that I've taken to heart over the years.
And I think there is such a value set that I've experienced at the club as a parent and on the coaching side, where this is not just some transactional thing. It's a relationships that form amongst the families, amongst the kids, amongst the broader club, the camaraderie in that. And I think that's something that you and others at the club have embodied really, really well.
We drive that culture. Yeah. It's not always about the wins and losses and championships that people focus on how the team is doing. It really does drive that philosophy and culture that I have, and I know a lot of our staff has, and we try to build that.
That's great. Dan, before we get into some more of your story and the details and your role at Union FC Indy, what's your favorite soccer? This could be controversial. Yeah. What's your favorite soccer team, and who's maybe your favorite player of all time?
My team, growing up, again, we didn't have all this TV and stations and streaming and all that. So soccer was rarely on TV when I was growing up. You rarely saw it. We had soccer made in Germany on Saturdays, and we had the old NASL, but it was rarely on TV. So I was always into the English game. Yep. So Liverpool was always my favorite team. Okay. And growing up, Pelé was the greatest player in the world for Brazil, and we didn't even have a national team, USA. So Brazil became my national team favorite. Liverpool became my club team favorite, and Pelé was my all-time favorite player. I got to meet him twice in my lifetime. It was a thrill. It was a thrill.
Where? Come on, you got to give that.
At the National Coaches Convention in Cincinnati one year, and he was there as a obviously special guest, and we were representing our soccer stores at the time, and we were at a very private function with Umbro. He was being courted and endorsing Umbro at the time, so we had a private meeting with him.
That's amazing.
I have a picture to prove it.
I love that. I love that. That is
very cool. It was really
cool.
Very generous, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was a thrill.
What's been your most memorable moment being involved with, what's been known as ZYSA, still known as ZYSA on the rec side, but now the travel side, Union FC Indy? What's been your most memorable moment or moments at the club?
I would say moments. I would say that for me, it's not about the achievement of a team. It's the process to watch a kid grow. For instance, Coach Claudy, our sporting director, his son Aspen was 9 years old when he played for me here at the club. And now he's 6'3", 15 years old. I mean, big time player in high school and big part of our club. Watching a player like that, like Aspen, and there's many of them. Watching them grow and develop over time, that is a huge reward to see that kind of trajectory and journey they've been on, and to watch that morph. When I used to be taller than him, which is not hard to be taller than me, but now he's a head taller than me. It's pretty sobering to watch these kids and fun to watch these kids develop. That's the most memorable thing for me. And if you've had a small impact on their journey, that's reward enough.
I love that. Dan, tell us a little bit, what was your soccer journey as a player, and what kind of led to you getting into coaching on that trajectory?
Yeah, that's a great question too, Brandon. We started in St. Louis, in 1969 when we first started playing as a young kid. And my family moved every 2 or 3 years. So we went from St. Louis, then we went into Minnesota, then we went into Detroit, and then we came to Indianapolis in 1980. And that's when I went on to play ball at Indiana. And the journey has been since I was 7 years old all the way through. And then I played in, after college, we all wanted to go pro, but there was no professional league at the time. It had folded. So we missed that window. So I got back into our family soccer business and got into coaching right away. In fact, at my first team I coached, I was 15 years old. I coached a group of kindergartens in Detroit. That's awesome. And I got a little sniff of it. I was still a kid, right? I was still a player and a kid, but I got a little sniff of it, like, wow, I can really help kids. I can do this. Yeah. And that kind of got my wheels moving a little bit, and I've never stopped since. So that's where it was, just giving back, having an impact. Nobody was making money doing that. Nobody, it was all volunteer. It was just giving back and that kind of a thing, that mentality. So that was a long time ago. That's all changed now.
What led to, we listed so many accolades, and we could talk, there's stories upon stories upon stories, but what led you to getting involved with, ZYSA and now Union FC Indy as we rebranded the travel program? What led to you? When did you come to the club, and what was that kind of path like for you?
Well, I had stepped aside from the club path. I worked for the NCAA for a couple of years, and then I got back involved with USAI. Had courted me to come over there, and then I got back into the club scene. I started and been back in it since. I started here at ZYSA in 2016. And I was recruited to come on in and be a part of that program, and it's not stopping. I've had, over the last 9 years, so many different hats that we've worn, because there's been so many different changes and things. But I started here in 2016.
Yeah, that's great. And I know with the growth of the club, there's changes that have to occur. As the recreation program has grown, as the travel side has grown and morphed and is continuing to grow, there's some really exciting things, and it's been cool to have you at the heart of all of that. What experiences have coached, and you've talked about this a little bit, have shaped your coaching philosophy, or how you support coaches and instill that philosophy in them through the club?
My main philosophy, coaching kids and working with kids, and try to get this across to other coaches, because it is a competitive game. People keep score. There's standings. There's people that win, people that lose. My philosophy has always been teaching more than just the game. Of course, we're going to teach the technical, tactical, physical, and the mental approach to the game, and all those factors that go into it. But the philosophy is it's a marathon approach to teaching and coaching. It's not a sprint. You're looking for that instant, fixed gratification and win. It's a marathon approach. Take your time, develop these kids. I always talk about school. You don't go from first grade to fifth grade. You go first grade, second grade, third grade. It's a continual, slow educational process. Have that type of mindset where you're having an impact on a young player. That's what drives my philosophy.
Yeah. What excites you? You've been at this for a long time, so you have to love it. You can't pretend to be in this world, right? You really have to love it. What excites you about your involvement at the club, both on the rec side and then also with the greater, travel program and all those kinds of things, and your involvement in there? What's kind of exciting to you about that? What's life-giving to you about that on all sides of it?
It can be, it's a great question. It can be exhausting, because basically it is 7 days a week. We're never really off. The phones are ringing, the texts are coming in, the emails are coming in. We're on the field, we're in meetings, we're doing all the behind the scenes stuff. The most exciting thing for me is when we actually get to the season and you see kids start showing up. All that work you do behind the scenes and all that labor you're putting in to coordinate and plan and project and all those things. When we see the kids on opening day and on the game days come out, and the 5-year-olds have their shirts down to their ankles, and it's just the cutest. That's what the kids drive the life in us. That's always been the pull for me. If I think about all the stuff we deal with, and from budgets to sponsors to vendors to trying to get grants to all the different things that we do, that's what always drives me, is the kids. The kids coming out and that smile, and I see where I was when I was that little.
Yeah.
And to have somebody there to kind of be excited for them because I know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
That's what excites me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What, in your opinion, makes our club different than other clubs? What's a differentiation? What's something unique to us that we're doing and aspiring to be?
Well, one, the 3 pillars that we focus on, the player development piece is a huge piece that we're continuing to broaden and improve on. The coaching education piece, we're constantly working with coaches and teaching them. But the main thing is the culture, the club culture. We're trying to build a culture that sets us apart in several ways. It sets us apart on the field, off the field, based on what we're doing in the community. So it's not just a soccer club. I always say we're a soccer club. We're a youth development organization disguised as a soccer club. So those types of things that set us apart, and how we train players, how we coordinate with families, how we're attentive, how we're responsive to the membership. Those are the things that really set us apart. And our commitment to really, in dedication to really, really doing our best. Is everybody going to be happy all the time? Is it going to be work out perfect for everybody? No, it's not. But we're making an effort to try to get there, and it's a constant process.
That's good. Dan, as we kind of close up our conversation for today, at least, what are some maybe final thoughts or advice as you talk with parents, as you encourage parents, as they have young kids, right? We've had conversations around development and what's appropriate. What would be maybe some advice that you could give to parents as they're watching and supporting their kids on this youth soccer journey and trajectory? What would be one piece of advice as we get ready, or a season is already starting for some as we're around that time? What would your advice be to them?
We're planning on doing a whole podcast just on parent education and parent role. So I give you a quick snapshot. My main advice would be just enjoy watching them play. Let them play. Don't be try not to be the helicopter parent and push your kid. And because one of the statistics is from all of youth sports, 70% of kids drop out of youth sports by the time they're 14. That's an alarming number in any sport. So something's wrong. So, and part of the reason is kids aren't having fun. They're not enjoying it. They feel the stress and pressure of having to win or succeed. Just let them go through the process. They will learn on their own. They will push themselves as they need. Coaches will guide them. So just really enjoy watching them play and let them experience the journey themselves. And you can certainly help them along the way, but just enjoy watching them play and try to be that parent who encourages their kid, but doesn't just push and push and push, because you'll push them away.
Absolutely. Well, Dan, I want to say thanks. You know, we could talk, I know, for another 3 hours, especially you and I. We could go for another 3 hours, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you for sharing part of your story. Thank you for giving us that inside look into your world a little bit, just a glimpse into it and what it looks like. And we're super excited, and we want to thank all of you for tuning in to this episode of Union FC Indy Insider. And don't forget to like, subscribe. In the comments, go ahead right here on YouTube, in the comments, put those words, "I love Union FC Indy," to be entered into a drawing to win some new Union FC Indy gear, which we're excited for all those new things really and changes and the colors and all of that stuff as we get ready for more continued transformation and positive things happening at the club. Thanks for tuning in to this episode. We'll see you next time.